Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All right. So, Canadian immigration, express entry, federal skilled worker, federal skilled trade, Canadian experience class. If you want to apply through these programs, you have to create your express entry application, right? And if we check the website, you need these documents for your express entry profile creations. But before that, you need the first step of Canadian immigration, which is checking your minimum eligibility criteria for Canada PR. Now, I have this playlist right here. This is step-by-step Canada immigration. This only has English videos. If you want to watch the same video in Urdu Hindi, then this is the same video, okay? 6 selection factors for checking your eligibility for Canadian immigration. So first of all, you have to determine your eligibility. So if you have not determined your eligibility right now, then you must watch this video before you go to the second step, that is this video. Okay, now I take you to the official CIC website because who else is better than providing information than the CIC website itself. And as you can see, proof of Canadian education, either you need to have Canadian education, or if you have foreign education from your country, from any other country like UK, Australia, wherever, okay, if you have foreign qualification that is outside of Canada, then you need to get your Canadian equivalency. That is a simple maths situation, right? So for Canadian immigration, you do not need an ECA, that is Educational Credential Assessment, but for all foreign degrees, you need an ECA, and this is the ECA information on the Canadian website. Okay, so these are the things that consultants charge $3,000, $4,000 for doing all these things for you, which is, I mean, nothing if I reiterate the fact. Okay, so ECA, if you're looking for ECA, I have a complete playlist. Let me show you right here. Okay, this is a complete playlist. I have talked about West, CES, all the ECA bodies, but some videos are in Urdu, some videos are in English, okay? But if I take you back to the CIC website, you would be able to see that there are 5 names mentioned here. Now, the first misconception that people have, they think that WES is ECA. I mean, I come across so many people who think that WES is equal to ECA, ECA is equal to WES. And if I tell them to choose another ECA body, then they say that I am going for WES. So what is the difference between WES and ECA? Okay, so the difference between WES and ECA is like British Council and IELTS. Like IELTS is something you need. Similarly, ECA is something you need. WES is an organization that provides this, like British Council. And you have IDP that provides the similar IELTS result for you. Okay, so that's the same example here. WES is an ECA body, and there are 5, in fact 7 ECA bodies which we're going to discuss. So the first ECA body was CES, Comparative Education Service, that is offered by University of Toronto, which is a prestigious institute and happens to be my favorite ECA body. I received my educational equivalency from CES. They gave me masters for my MBA, which was 2 + 2 years, meaning 2 years bachelor's and 2 years masters, in total 16 years of education, and they gave me masters. No other ECA body does that other than ICES, and that is applicable only for MBA. If you don't have an MBA, then this duration 2 + 2 years is not applicable to you. This is the facility for MBA holders only. Okay, so the second ECA body is ICAS. Okay, that is International Credential Assessment Service of Canada. Then on third number is World Education Service. I mean, everybody knows about WES because consultants, when you go to consultants, they will say that हम आपका WES करवा देंगे. We will send your educational documents to WES. So the people who go to those consultants, then they come back and then they tell other people that WES is ECA, ECA is WES, which is not the case. And you can see that on 2013, WES was designated, and on the similar date, CES was also designated, ICAS was also designated, then IQAS and ICES, that is ICES and ICAS, they were designated in 2015, which is almost the same time when express entry started. And many people ask me that WES is acceptable for PNP. Now, is ICAS acceptable for PNP or not? Is CES acceptable for PNP or not? Come on, guys. It is acceptable. Any of these 5 ECA bodies, or in fact, if you had an ECA from WES, World Education Service, and you're not happy with the result, and you sent your documents again to Comparative Education Service, then they might, obviously you want a master's equivalency, right? And if WES didn't give you, then you can choose another ECA body. This is your right. And you can use multiple ECA bodies in your express entry profile. There is nothing wrong with it. For example, you had a bachelor's ECA from WES, you had a master's ECA from CES. So for masters, you will use CES ECA number. For bachelor's, you will use bachelor ECA, WES ECA number. Okay, so that is done and dusted. I mean, we don't need to talk about that anymore. So apart from these 5 ECA bodies, if your NOC code is 3111 or 3112, that is physicians. If that's your NOC code, then your chosen ECA body should be MCC, Medical Council of Canada. Okay. And if you're a pharmacist and your NOC is 3131, then you need to go to PEBC, that is Pharmacy Examining Board of Canada. So if you have any of these NOC codes, then MCC and PEBC should be your go-to ECA body, which will help you later get your licensing and your regulatory requirements from the provinces. Okay. Another thing about these ECA bodies is that if you need a license, like if you get a PNP nomination and that PNP program asks you for a license, if your NOC was a regulated one, then you need to go to WES ICAP, that is document by document evaluation, I guess. Okay, and in that case you will have to pay some extra fees, that is ICAP ICAP. Okay, so you can simply Google WES ICAP process and it will be in front of you. So based on that WES ICAP report, then the province's regulatory body will give you your license. Okay, but you cannot apply for this license before receiving a PNP notification of interest, because you never know which PNP is going to select you, and every province has a different regulatory body. So it is not like realistic to get a license from all provinces. So wait for the PNP notification of interest, and then you can apply for the license if your NOC is regulated. Okay, so yeah, talking about these 5 ECA bodies. Now let me give you timeline comparison. Okay, CES, ICES, ICAS and ICAS with a C. These 4 bodies take longer time, okay, but they are more lenient than WES. And WES takes extremely low time, sometimes in 7 days, 10 days, 20 days. Their official timeline is 35 days. So, I mean, they are the fastest ECA body, but they are rigid as well, and they don't like South Asian education. So if you're from South Asia, and you go to WES, then chances are very minimum that you will gain a master's equivalency. They do give you a master's equivalency, but that is very rare and very uncertain as well. Okay, and all other 4 ECA bodies, they take about similar timelines. There is a difference of 2 or 4 weeks in between all of these ECA bodies. Okay, and if we talk about fee, then WES, ICAS with a Q and ICAS with a C, this one. These 3 ECA bodies have the lower level of fee structure, because ICES, that one, and CES, this one, they charge you separately for each credential. For example, if you had a bachelor's degree, if you had a master's degree, then these 2 ECA bodies will charge you separately. Okay, but it actually depends on your courses that you have taken. For example, if you have an MBA, and then you don't need to get your bachelor's degree evaluated, because CES and ICES, both of them will give you master's equivalency, whether it is a 1-year MBA, 2 years MBA, 3 years MBA, or 3.5 years MBA. Yes, in Pakistan, you could have 3.5 years of MBA, excluding bachelor's. That is a true story. Okay, so depending on your skills, depending on which course you studied, you can then choose which ECA body is the best option for you. And with that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. For those of you who don't know, Skillshare is a completely online learning community, and they have thousands of inspiring classes to enhance your skills. They have top classes in graphic design, UI UX design, marketing, and entrepreneurship. I recently took a class with MKBHD last month, who is everyone's favorite YouTuber, and the class name was YouTube Success with Marcus Brownlee. So I will share one key takeaway from that class. MKBHD said, don't just throw numbers at your audience without background information. So like me, if you want to enhance your skill set, Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, and they won't bother you with ads. And Skillshare offers memberships, and the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So you can start exploring your creativity today. Okay, now coming back to the topic. These ECA bodies, these 5 ECA bodies, or rather 7 ECA bodies, all of them are valid. If your agent tells you that no, IQAS is suspended, no, it is not suspended. It only has a limited access, but you can get through it. I mean, I know hundreds of people who have gone through it, who opened their portal right on the money, right on the clock, and they just entered their details and they were able to get through. So IQAS is not suspended, right? If they say that ICES has a timeline of 30 weeks mentioned on their website, then that is true that this is the timeline mentioned there. But thing is, ICES does not take that long in practical. In reality, they give you an ECA in almost a similar timeline as CES and IQAS. As I said, these 4 ECA bodies, other than WES, they have similar timelines. There is only a difference of 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Okay, so firstly, you choose your ECA body, and then you need to know about the process. Okay, so the process depends on your country of study. That is like something that you need to understand. If you're from Ghana, then you would need to check that website for education requirements, for document requirements from Ghana, because that could have different requirements than what I'm going to tell you in this video. If you're from Pakistan, then your ECA body might need Higher Education Commission HEC sealed envelope. Okay, and if you're from India, then you might need to pay your university to send your transcript to the ECA body, and you will upload the degree on the ECA body portal. Okay, so like these are the requirements that all depend on your country of study. If you studied from UK, if you studied from Australia, if you studied from all those developed countries, then WES is your best option. And those countries, they send those documents online. For example, if you studied from CMI, Chartered Management Institute in London, UK, and you will need to pay some fee, maybe 40 pounds, 50 pounds to your university, and they will send that transcript, or rather your degree certificate, to WES, and then WES will evaluate it. So like that cost, the cost that your university might charge you, or in Pakistani case, Higher Education Commission charges a fee. Okay, so that fee is different from the ECA fee. It has nothing to do with the ECA fee. ECA fee is from $210 to $220, excluding the courier fee that you might need to pay. So like ECA fee is separate, and your documentation fee from your university or from your Higher Education Commission, that is something different. Okay, so these were about the requirements, and I think I made everything clear. But thing is, until you have your ECA report in front of you, like in a PDF form, in a soft copy, or in a hard copy, until you receive that, you cannot create your express entry profile. People keep on asking me that I am thinking or I am guessing that my ECA report will arrive next week. So can I create my express entry profile right now? No, you cannot do that, my friend, because it is essential. Okay, checking your eligibility, whether you're eligible for express entry or not, that is essential. And after you have done that, then the second step of ECA, getting your degrees evaluated from Canadian bodies to get them assessed whether they are accepted in Canada as it is or not. Okay, so that is a mandatory step, and if you have not completed it, you cannot apply through express entry profile. You cannot apply through most of the PNP programs as well. I mean, sometimes PNP programs will specifically mention, like Saskatchewan, they will specifically mention that candidates who were invited had an educational credential assessment. Okay, so if you want to apply through PNP, if you want to apply through express entry, FSW, FST, thing is you need an ECA. Okay, now let's talk about something other than immigration. Okay, if you are studying in Canada and you want to get your degrees from back home evaluated, then you don't need to pay the fee I mentioned here. You can choose general purpose of your ECA. Okay, and if you are a Canadian PR and you're looking for jobs and you're telling them that I have MBA from back home, but you don't have an equivalency for that, then your interviewer or your employer might ask you that, have you gotten your equivalency done for Canada or not? So for that reason, for job, for interview or things like that, you can get your ECA done on journal basis, and it will have a lower fee than the immigration basis, because thing is, for immigration purposes, they might need to do extra work, and that's why they're charging you a little more. So that's another aspect of ECA. Okay, and after you have completed your ECA from WES, they give you a digital badge as well, which you can show on your LinkedIn profile. Okay, and your LinkedIn profile will say that WES has evaluated this person as a master's degree holder. Okay, so it's a nice badge to have. Okay, and yeah, this is about it. If you want to know about the particular specific individual process of any of the ECA bodies, then let me take you to this playlist. Okay, so ECA for Canada immigration. Let's talk about WES. Okay, these 3 videos are for WES. And if we go down further, this is for CES. These are for IQAS, ICES. Okay, I don't have yet a video about ICAS, but if you would want it, I would create one. Okay, with these words, this is Iftikhar again, thanking Skillshare for sponsoring this video and wishing you guys all the best.